My name is Dwayne Amos. This is a presentation on the cast of Friends contract negotiation in 2002. Just a little bit of background. The television sitcom Friends debuted on NBC in September of 1994. The premise was centered around the lives and relationships of six young adult friends living in New York City. The show was a hit within the young adult market and would soon become one of NBC's most popular shows. By the end of its sixth season, it was the number one show for the 8 p.m. Thursday night time slot, which is a huge prime time slot, and it had 2 million more viewers than the next contender. So Friends became the backbone of NBC, and the show's six star characters, played by Matthew Perry, Courtney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, Jennifer Aniston, Lisa Kudrow, and David Schwimmer, were the backbone of the show. So some might say they were the backbone of NBC at that time in some respects. In 2002, the cast would leverage this clout to negotiate new salaries. So the positions. The cast was asking for $1 million per episode, and they stipulated that all six starring cast members must get the same salary, and they also wanted to continue receiving syndication residual royalties. And in terms of the network, their positions or demands were that the cast must renew contract for at least one season, which was 24 episodes, and that all six cast members needed to return. And the network was already paying $700,000 per episode for salaries for each of those six cast members. And now, considering the interest, when we look at the cast, each cast member was earning $750,000 by the close of season six. This is per episode. So NBC paid $700,000 per episode. Warner Brothers paid $25,000 per episode, and the show's main production company, Bright Kaufman and Crane, they paid the other $25,000 per episode. Each cast member also received some portion of the syndication residual royalties, and some cast members had expressed interest in leaving the show to pursue other projects. However, the cast did show signs that they felt some obligation toward their viewers and the fans of the show. In a press release, they stated, "We could not ignore the outpouring of public support for the show." This coming after that landmark season six season with the really high ratings. Still, cast members sought additional incentive. Their main risk was that lost opportunity to pursue other acting projects. If a movie or a film or a play came up at that point in time and they passed it up to stay with friends, they might not get that opportunity again. And then considering the interests of the networks, NBC needed Friends because the show was a primary source of advertising revenue. Obviously, in season six, Friends scored the highest ratings in history, and several senior executives from rival networks said that NBC would have faced a serious crisis had the network lost Friends. It was a vital to NBC's upfront sales, which is basically the advertising sales that take place in the spring. So sponsors will buy the majority of the network commercial time if they see that they have really high rated shows. NBC executives also wanted to introduce the show's enormous audience to a new comedy that it would place in the time slot that aired right after Friends. So Friends aired at 8 p.m., they could put another show in at 8:30 and introduce the Friends audience to that show. However, in seasons 5 and 6, NBC paid approximately $5.5 million per episodes of Friends, $700,000 to each of the six starring cast members, and approximately $1 million in production costs. So the main risk for NBC was that Friends could record a drop in ratings. They might agree to pay these higher salaries, but if the ratings don't stay or continue to rise, then it might not be worth it. And NBC and ABC has seen this happen with shows like The Drew Carey Show and Mad About You. Considering the best alternative to a negotiated agreement, executives left four episodes unwritten so that they could plan for a season finale if the negotiations fell through. And for the cast members, they were lining up other opportunities in film and television. So the deal, a little bit of history. In 2000, the cast approached the network asking for $1,050,000 per episode. At the time, a network executive, Garth Ancher, used a bit of a dirty trick to show them that the network wasn't afraid to cancel the show, and he released some promos that alluded to this. Faced with the possibility that the show might be canceled, the cast came back and accepted a salary of $750,000 per episode. So, considering the actual deal in 2002, the positions were quite different. The cast now had the highest ratings in television, which put them in quite a powerful position. So they need to find a way to avoid the same outcome as last time. They used objective criteria. Friends was the highest rated show in television. Salaries for lead roles on other top shows were in excess of $1 million. And the network made billions of dollars off of the show. And the cast separated the people from the problem. In a landmark maneuver, instead of relying on their managers or agents, the six friends actors band together in union like form and said, "We all want salaries of $1 million, and it's either all six of us or none of us." And in doing so, the negotiation was not about one person's pride or importance over another. Instead, it was about the cast as a whole and the salary they felt they deserved. An agreement was reached. The cast members were awarded their desired salaries of $1 million per episode. NBC received assurance that their all star cast would return and that their advertising revenues would continue. The new salaries did raise NBC's per episode cost to $7 million, which was a 27% increase. What went well? The cast did a great job of separating the people from the problem. Matt LeBlanc explained that, like any other job, whether it was a plumber or a car salesman, if you're in an opportunity to get a raise, then you should take that opportunity. Lisa Kudrow added, the rationale is that the show is actually generating an enormous amount of money, and it's affordable. It's affordable to whatever entity has to pay it. What went wrong was definitely the negotiation in 2000. That dirty trick employed by the executive is something that you want to try to avoid in negotiations, and if the network likely paid for that in the second round, and the actors realized if they band together, um, the network really wouldn't have a choice. So, in summary, the negotiation resulted in an agreement that would foster a long term relationship. Both parties benefited, and the deal went down as one of the most historic deals in television. Although the network had to pay a higher salary, it, could de- it couldn't deny the fortitude of the cast in banding together. In that respect, the network likely respected the cast. Friends went on for two more seasons and is regarded as one of the most successful shows in television history.